And welcome to the Film Pulse Podcast. This is episode number 508. My name's Adam Patterson. With me today, we've got Kevin Rakestraw. Hey, Kevin.
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, it's going all right. This week on the show, we're going to be reviewing Richard Linklater's Hitman, which is out now on Netflix. We're also going to be going over what we've been watching on the watch list and new releases in theaters, VOD, and Blu-ray. Thanks so much for tuning in this week. Going to go ahead and get right on into Hitman. Hitman. I have a synopsis here. A professor moonlighting as a hitman of sorts for his city police department descends into dangerous, dubious territory when he finds himself attracted to a woman who enlists his services. This is directed by Richard Linklater, as I mentioned. It's written by Richard Linklater and Glenn Powell and Skip Hollandsworth. I believe that it's based on an article that Skip Hollandsworth wrote. So this is inspired by a true story, we'll say. Kevin, we'll start with you. What were your initial impressions of Hitman?
This was pretty much exactly what I was hoping it to be, which was a fun, entertaining movie, and that's what it delivered to me. I mean, there's not a whole lot here that is, shouted from the rooftops awesome. It was just a good time for like 2 hours, just about. And then I went on with my life.
Mm-hmm.
I pretty much what I wanted, and it delivered.
Yeah, for me, this was like just kind of a straight up mid-tier movie. Feels at home on Netflix. It doesn't excel in anything, but at the same time, it just kind of is a light, entertaining, kind of comedy.
It's very competent and everything. Doesn't excel, but it's competent.
Yeah, I like Glenn Powell. I like to see him in more starring roles. I think he's funny. I think he's a good actor. So I like to see him in more roles like this. I remember he was in Everybody Wants Some, I believe, which was another Linklater, which, like I didn't find this movie particularly funny. I didn't find it to be particularly well shot or memorable or directed in any sort of like notable way. It was just, it was innocuous. I would just call it a very innocuous movie.
Yes.
I enjoyed it. It was entertaining. The true story of this man, I think, is interesting. What's his name? Gary something?
Gary.
Yeah, I mean, Gary Johnson. He, it's a somewhat interesting story. I don't have much to say about it, honestly. It didn't find it to be that funny. I don't think I don't know if I laughed a single time in it. But at the same time, I don't know if it was really meant to make you laugh. I don't know.
I mean, there's a couple of parts that not necessarily made me like laugh out loud or anything, but it was humorous,
chortle worthy.
They give him essentially the only thing that really works comedy wise here for the comedy attempts are just all the like his costumes, like
his personas.
He does the Patrick Bateman and then he does the Tilda Swinton, and you're just like, all right, yeah, having fun with it. I get you. Also, this is insane. Like, you just feel like this should be illegal. It has to be illegal. You can't just have civilians doing shit.
I thought about that too. Like,
it's crazy.
He's not a cop. He's a college professor. And they have him like going undercover and like doing and like evidently he did do that. He was instrumental in over 70 arrests.
And not only that, but just like that way that, in the movie at least, the way it goes about it's like, man, how do you have time for this? You're a fucking professor. You got your curriculum, your everything that you're doing, you're grading papers, you're feeding your cats, you're doing research, getting yourself your little costumes.
From what I read, he actually, that's what made him very notable was that he did do that. Like he did have the costumes and tailored his hitman persona to the person that he thought would the subject would want, which I think is, I mean, that's really cool. Like I liked that portion of the movie. I thought it was very clever and stuff. And he's a very clever guy, being able to, and I think that's one of the more interesting things about this movie is that he's like, was he a psychology professor? I already forgot.
But yeah, it was like a philosophy / I think he did psychology too.
But like the that angle of it where, you know, you study the person who is trying to hire this hitman and like be able to read them and, you know, give them exactly what they're looking for. I thought that was all, you know, really, really clever. And I liked that portion of it. The whole love story angle of this, from what I understand, was made up. But the character that the love interest is based on was a real person that he ended up like convincing not to go through with the hit. But I think that the love story portion of it is fabricated.
Yeah, it's kind of fucked up though, right?
Yeah,
all these people, and he gets one attractive woman, and he's like, "Hey, don't do it." Everyone else, he's like, "I'm putting you the fuck away.
You're going away for life.
You're going down."
That is true. Well, you know, everybody's circumstances are different, and I guess he saw something in her, hopefully beyond just a hottie, the hot babe.
Seemed like a superficial guy. I mean, all in all, good time. Good time. I had fun with it. I thought it, like, to me, it worked relatively well as like a rom-com, because that's essentially what I saw it as.
Yeah, it is.
And it worked for me. I mean, Glenn Powell's entertaining enough of a guy to shoulder this for 2 hours. The romance was good enough.
Yeah, I would say it mostly worked for me as well. I would compare it to, like, you know, like Richard Linklater does this, like, I think for a while he was doing his whole kind of one for me, one for them type of thing, where he would like release these like very commercially agreeable movies. Like Bernie comes to mind. Like I would compare this to Bernie. It has very much the same flavor to it. Like,
yeah,
you have the voiceover, which I didn't like, and just the very kind of straightforward cinematography that just is like nothing to write home about at all. It's very standard stuff.
Yeah,
and the focus is solely on the character, the main character in the story. That, and Bernie was a true story as well. So I would definitely, if you liked Bernie, I think you will enjoy this. I didn't see Where'd You Go, Bernadette. I can't really compare that, but that kind of looked like a similar thing.
Yeah, I mean, for a Netflix movie too, counted it as a win.
Yeah, compared to, I think the last Netflix movie I saw was, well, I'm going to talk about one later, but Atlas.
Yeah.
I saw Atlas, and that was easily the worst movie of the year. So
now we're talking.
Oh my god, what a nightmare! So yeah, Hitman was definitely better than that. So all right, let's go ahead and give it a score. I'm sitting at a 6 on Hitman.
Oh, this is such a 6. This is a locked in, concrete 6.
It's a 6 if there ever was one.
Fuck,
this is like this is the bar.
Rebarb.
Yeah, like Hitman is the bar.
This is like the government agency of weights and measures created this as a solid 6 to use.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what this is.
All right, so that's Hitman. Again, that's on Netflix. Check it out there. Let's talk about some of what we've been watching. I saw The First Omen, which is out now on VOD platforms.
Hey, buddy, I did too.
Oh, nice. Well, we can share our thoughts.
Look at us. Look at us. Look at us.
This is directed by Arkasha Stevenson. Now, I had zero expectations for this. In fact, I just kind of assumed that it was going to be bad. Like, I just assumed it was going to be pretty crappy, but I very much enjoyed The First Omen. I thought that it was pretty solid. I was very surprised.
I will say that I was surprised too. I don't know if I was as impressed as you were. A lot of this movie didn't work for me, but I think kind of to your point where like I just completely wrote this movie off when I saw the trailer. I was just like, no, nope. And then the buzz where it was like, hey, this is actually pretty good, which was enough to make me go, okay, it's on Hulu. I'll give it a shot. And
yeah, that's right. I forgot to mention that it is on Hulu as well.
It has its moments, but man, that ending is corny as hell. But you knew they couldn't. They had to do it.
Well, they had to
do it.
Yeah, I mean, this is a prequel. This is a direct prequel to the original. So they had to somehow lead into the original.
Yeah, but I just love like the idea of just like not having that and it just ending the movie and someone sitting there going, "Oh, I wonder what they named the kid though." Like, would that ruin it for you? Like, come on.
I wasn't thinking about that specific moment, the naming part. I was just thinking about. I was referring to just the end in general. Yeah, the naming thing I could have done without.
Because that's where you take it like over the top. You know what I mean? Where it's like, okay, I get that you have to like lead it into, but come on, you don't have to go that far with it.
It's interesting that this shares a lot of the same kind of plot elements as Immaculate. I think that this kind of does everything maybe a little bit better than Immaculate did. But yeah, like I liked the look of it. I thought that it looked really good. There were certainly some really creepy moments in here. Definitely. And I went back and I watched the entire Omen series, even the 2006 remake after this.
What kind of time you got?
Jesus
Christ.
No, I watch it while I'm doing other stuff. Like working. Yeah. I'll watch it during work.
Oh, that's right. I always forget that you can do that.
Yeah. So like The Omen, in my opinion, is not that great of a franchise to begin with. Like the original was good. Mm-hmm. But all the sequels I thought were just meh. Even the one with Sam Neill, and it was like not very good at all. So I think that if you're ranking this franchise, this one is probably right underneath the original as far as like quality. So yeah, I liked it. I was pretty surprised.
Not bad.
It wasn't like my favorite horror movie of the year or anything like that. I mean,
yeah.
I guess that really for me the bar was so low.
Yes.
That
expectations are so low. Yeah. It's just like, well, this is gonna be terrible. And then I was like, oh, this is like not bad.
Not that bad. Yeah.
Gotcha. Cool.
What else you got?
I got one that is really disappointing, and that's Fulci's Aenigma from 1987. This is on Tubi. Where else would it be? And I love the tagline to this. They made a clown out of Kathy once too often! Exclamation point. Man, they're putting Kathy through it. Like this is this boarding school, and they treat Kathy like shit. And she gets hit by a truck, and she ends up in the hospital, comatose. But she's able to like possess a new student that shows up at the boarding school, and then she kind of takes her revenge on everyone. And it has its moments. Got some pretty wonderful kills. Someone dies by snail. Just completely covered in snails. And man, is it dragged out forever with the sound effects too. You got your snail sound effects. It had to be like 900 snails. It's disgusting. Another guy, there's a window chops the guy's head off. So like it has some kills, but man, it's a bit of a slog. It's not that entertaining. And just kind of uneventful for a lot of it. Just a real shame.
Mm.
It's a pretty good idea. But the funny thing is too, they're like watching this girl. You know, she's comatose in the hospital. She's all hooked up, and I don't know what the hell they're doing. What they were trying to convey, but they were using like makeup on her, and she was just like straight up green. Like she was just like decayed completely, and they're just like, well, maybe she'll pull around. Like, dude, she's fucking green. She needs to be in the ground. She's dead.
Nice. I'm still interested. It's Fulci. I
Oh,
haven't seen this, so think I'll check that out at some point. Let's see. I saw Jackdaw, which came out on VOD past week. Directed by Jamie Childs. I believe this is like a feature debut from Jamie Childs. This is a crime thriller, English crime thriller about a motocross guy who gets involved. So he needs money, and he formerly had a life of crime. He got out of the crime business, and he's taking care of his younger brother who is special needs, and he's broke. He needs money, so he does this job for like a local gangster. But it turns out this job is like basically stealing from a much bigger, higher up gangster, and it causes this cascade of violence that occurs. I really enjoyed this. This is a pretty solid crime thriller. Lots of good like kind of driving sequences, you know, because he's a motocross guy, so he's like wearing a helmet for most of the movie and like hopping on his dirt bike, riding around. It's got this really great like kind of thumping soundtrack to it. This like kind of techno soundtrack. It very much reminded me of Drive. Like I would be surprised to hear that Drive was not at all an inspiration for this movie. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. I don't think they like ripped it off or anything, but like, yeah, this is a pretty solid. It's not anything amazing, but there are some really kind of clever sequences in it and stuff, and some good set pieces. So I recommend it. There's a pretty decent one shotter in here. So like, yeah, the cinematography is pretty solid, but I'd give it a recommend. Light recommend. Jackdaw.
Jackdaw. Okay, I have a strong recommend, and that's Cutthroats 9. 1972. This is a bleak as hell Western.
All right.
Tagline here is violence is their way of life. But guess what? A lot of violence in this movie. This movie is bleak. It is just pitch black. So it's a wagon full of convicts on their way to prison. There's this bandit gang that, you know, tries to rob them for gold. There's no gold, so they just fuck with them. Slap the horses. Horses go. Wagon gets knocked over. Bunch of people die. It's just the 7 convicts, terrible fucking people. They're all like rapists and murderers. And then there's one army guard and his daughter. And that's it. That's the 9. And now they just got to trek and try and find some place. But they don't really have anything. And of course the convicts are all chained together. And it's just them walking through the snow, trying to find a place. And man, this is kind of surprising at first, like the first kill, essentially. Because again, super bleak. So, honestly, for me, my experience was I had no idea as soon as the first kill happens, you're just like, well, anything can happen. Like, this isn't going to go like the standard route of storytelling. Like, anyone could literally die at any moment. And that's pretty much what happens throughout the entire movie. But the interesting thing is, with it being a Western, like the gore and stuff is done in a very like horror genre type of way. Like it's all like practical effects, and it's like close up, but it's like eyes bulging out of their faces, blood everywhere. Like it's super gross. So it's kind of like a marriage of the two. But man, this fucking thing, I cannot recommend this enough. But, you know, be ready, because nothing good happens. ever.
I'm definitely adding this to my list for sure.
Tubi, get it
for sure. All right, I saw Under Paris. This is the other Netflix one.
Is this the shark one?
It is the shark one, yeah.
Yes.
This is directed by Xavier Gens, which he's directed a number of things that I've liked. Some things that I have definitely not liked, but there's another one that is on my list of his called Mayhem that I'm hoping to watch maybe this week, that I've been interested in. But anyway, Under Paris, this is a Jaws copy. This is Jaws clone. Even down to like the mayor that is like, evil and stupid. Like that, that's present here as well. So what you have is due to all of the like pollution and everything that's in the ocean, specifically that trash vortex. The sea life starts to like evolve at a rapid rate, and you have this mako shark who has grown much larger than normal and starts to become more aggressive. And this shark ends up going into Paris, basically into like the water under Paris, like in the catacombs and stuff, and looking for a place in fresh water to give birth. So she gives birth to all these other sharks. So basically, you have a ton of sharks that are coming out through the Paris catacombs, and guess what? There's a triathlon that's happening.
No, terrible timing.
Yeah,
terrible timing.
And of course, like all of the people, the main characters in this, Bernice Bujold is she's like this, she's like a scientist, and she's like warning them. She's like, you gotta. There's sharks in there. You gotta cancel the triathlon. And of course, the mayor's like, no, it'll be fine. We'll just have people, looking out for the sharks, and we'll have nets up that are like kind of blocking off the swimming area. Mm-hmm. But
does that work? Does that work?
You know that it doesn't. So, you got sharks. This is actually very fun. It is, it's a Jaws clone, so you pretty much know what you're getting. And really the only thing that you should go into a movie like this for is like the crazy, over the top shark killing. And that's what there's definitely a lot of crazy over the top shark killing in this. You got sharks like ripping people in half and chomping them up and biting off limbs and all that stuff. So yeah, it's cool, but there are some really good set pieces in here. The sequence specifically in the catacombs is pretty exciting. Like, they know that the shark is in the catacombs, but they don't know where. And of course, it's like all flooded, so it just makes for a very kind of eerie sequence because of all of the like skulls and stuff like that under there. But yeah, I actually had fun with this one. I mean, don't go into it expecting Jaws, like actual Jaws.
Yeah.
But as far as a Jaws clone goes, I think it's pretty solid.
Okay, nice. I have one last movie to highly recommend. It's playing on Mubi, so I don't watch everything that's on Tubi. I do branch out occasionally.
Mm-hmm. You go from Tubi to Mubi.
Tubi to Mubi. High end, the low end, everywhere in between. Those two got you covered. It's called Blackbird Blackbird Blackberry.
Okay.
And that's the name of this movie. This is from 2023. It takes place in Georgia, the country.
Mm-hmm.
Little Georgian village. Carol is she's a 48-year-old woman, virgin, that hasn't really done anything romance-wise, which is like the big crux of this movie. And then it starts she runs this little shop of she just kind of sells like hair products and lotions and such for this small village, and then she ends up having, out of nowhere, starts having this like really passionate affair with the delivery guy, and it starts kind of like cutting into her way of life and making her like rethink things because she's been so focused on just like having her freedom, and not having a man whatsoever. So this kind of throws that into a whirlwind of sorts. But this movie, great performance from the lead, Ika Kevishvili, who plays Satira. And Georgia, you watch this movie, guess where you're going to want to go? You're going to want to go to Georgia. Because goddamn is Georgia beautiful.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Never would have thought.
Never would have thought. Had no idea. And this is like one of those perfect Sunday afternoon movies. Just kind of, slow pace. Just very calming, very soothing, low stakes. It's just a very nice time.
Nice. This looks really good. This looks quite good. Blackbird Blackbird Blackberry.
Yes.
On Mubi.
I
wonder what the release plan is, because these movies, they go on Mubi for a limited time, and then they just seem to disappear. Like where do they go?
I don't know.
Because there's some other movie that came out on Mubi and like it just disappeared, and I was like, I wanted to see that, and I can't remember the movie, but like it's just gone.
Yeah, it is a bummer sometimes because they do, and they release so many like newer movies, or either it came out this year or came out last year, to like no fanfare whatsoever. Like they're not like really shown on like the front page.
Yeah, it's weird.
I don't understand how they work anymore.
Speaking of movie, I'll mention a movie that I saw this week, and that's The Last Year of Darkness by Ben Mullencausen. This is a documentary about a group of youths in China who all frequent this nightclub called Funky Town.
Hell yeah, Funky Town.
And it's just like this really kind of fascinating slice of life portrait of these people and sort of what they do in their lives. It's a very, very like kind of minimal documentary. It's not like it has any kind of like big messaging or anything like that. It does in a way, because it's kind of interesting. Like in between the sequences of like following these people around, they're showing like the kind of the area that the club is in and how it's under this like really major kind of structural changes. Like there's all this building and construction going on in the area, and by the end you discover that the club is being forced to close. So it's like this kind of transitional period in the area, and maybe you could say in China as a whole. And it's just like these people are kind of this youth they're just kind of lost in this. And it's quite good music in it. It's shot incredibly well. It's one of these documentaries that makes me wonder if some of the stuff is like staged, because it just looks so good that it doesn't look like a documentary at all.
Yeah.
But either way, I mean, it doesn't detract from it, and if it is. But yeah, I would definitely give The Last Year of Darkness a recommend. And again, that's on Mubi.
Oh yeah, back-to-back movies.
Yeah, this probably one of the more interesting documentaries I've seen this year.
Nice.
Which isn't saying much, because most of the documentaries I've seen this year, like your kind of standard Netflix crime docs.
Straight to DVD.
Yeah.
Or straight to Netflix, The History of the Stop Sign.
Yep. One final one that I'll mention just very briefly. I decided to go on a little Sam Peckinpah journey. And I kicked things off this week with Convoy from 1978. I knew a lot about this movie, but I never actually saw it in its entirety. I think this is one of these movies where a lot of people know pieces of this movie, or maybe references to this movie, but haven't actually seen it. So yeah, this is the one that I chose to start things off with. Stars Chris Christopherson and Ally McGraw, and it's basically about this trucker named Rubber Duck, and him and his buddies end up getting in a fight with a cop, and they beat up a cop, and they're like, "Oh man, we're in deep trouble. Let's try to make for the border." So they get themselves a little convoy, and like word starts to travel about this convoy of truckers, and then all these other truckers start to join the convoy in support, and it turns into this like big kind of cultural phenomenon where like when they go through small towns, like the towns are putting on like performances for them, and there's like bands and stuff, and news crews are trying to interview them while they're driving on the convoy, and it just turns into this like big thing, and it's kind of ridiculous. Like everything in this movie is so ridiculous and nonsensical, but at the same time it's incredibly fun. I had a really good time with it. It's like pure 70s, like you look at that cover and it's like,
oh
my god, this is so 70s. I love it.
But it's wild because I've known about this movie, but I never realized that Peckinpah directed it.
Yeah,
which is crazy.
And I'm sure most of you know like the song, the Convoy song.
Hell yeah.
I think in a lot of ways that song maybe surpassed the popularity of the movie. I don't know, but Ernest Borgnine plays the bad guy, the sheriff who's trying to bring him down, and it's very light. Like there's a lot of like comedy in it. It's not like super serious. It's not super violent like a lot of other Peckinpah films. It's just good time.
Yeah, I thought so. This movie is based on the song. The song came out first, and then they were like, we got to make a movie about the song.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah, which is nuts.
That's crazy because the song is basically just telling the story about what's happening.
He fucking made it easy for him. Based on Convoy.
That's so funny because like they'll play the song throughout the movie at the parts where like things are happening and that they're singing. It's so ridiculous. Oh my god. Yeah, this movie's rated PG, so it's not
oh my god, this gets even better. I can't wait to go down this. Because the best part about Convoy, it's written by Bill Fries, Chip Davis. So you got Chip and Fries writing Convoy. And now Bill Fries created C.W. McCall, who's the character, the truck driving country singer. And he originally created that character for a series of bread commercials.
Bread commercials?
Bread commercials. He's like, you know what? I got tasked with coming up with a jingle for some bread commercials. Wonder Bread, who knows? I'm going to come up with a country singer that's also a truck driver. C.W. McCall on the CB talking about bread.
Wow. And it looks like he was on an episode of Hee Haw as C.W. McCall.
We can parlay that shit into Convoy, directed by Sam Peckinpah. Get the hell out of here.
Wow. That just gets better and better.
It does, doesn't it? So good.
At the end of the day, I definitely recommend checking out Convoy.
You gotta. You have to.
It's on Tubi. It's on Amazon Prime. Give it a look. All right, let's take a look at what we have in theaters this week. I think the big one is Inside Out 2. No interest in this one.
No thanks.
Did you see the first one?
No, I don't think so. Pretty sure not.
Yeah, I wasn't into it. It was fine, but this one looks unnecessary. Yeah, that's the big one for theaters. VOD this week. We have Unsung Hero. Then we have Blind War. We got Richland. We got Big Boys. Killer of Men. We have Break. Then on the 14th, we have Reverse the Curse, starring David Duchovny from the looks of it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Bad Behavior, starring Jennifer Connelly. We got Ride, Queendom, The Grab, and looks like that's it for VOD. Let's see if there's anything that's dropping on streaming services. I think I saw, there's one on Hulu called Brats, which is a documentary about the Brat Pack.
Okay.
I'll be checking that out. It looks like a, turn your brain off and just watch some documentary type of thing.
Do it.
On Netflix, we have Ultraman Rising, which appears to be an animated Ultraman film. We got Mysteries of the Terracotta Warriors on Netflix. On Blu-ray this week, we got La Femme Nikita coming out in 4K. We got Godzilla X Kong The New Empire, which I saw, by the way, and it's garbage, as expected. Did you know that Adam Wingard directed that?
I think so. I think I do remember that.
Because I totally didn't realize that until I started watching the movie and his name came up. And I was just like, whoa.
What the hell?
What the hell? Yeah. It's bad and I don't recommend. Just check out Godzilla -1. And they also, I don't know if it came out already or they were going to release it or they are releasing it. There's a black and white version of Godzilla -1 that they made. Yeah. So I'm sure
two that you can watch.
Yeah, I've yet to check out the black and white one, but I'm excited to. Mute Witness is coming out on Arrow. That's from 1995. Highly recommend Mute Witness if you haven't seen that. Immaculate's coming out. The Valiant ones from 1975 coming out in 4K. We got The Last Kumite. A Queen's Ransom from 1976. Stop motion from, I guess, last year or maybe earlier this year. It says 2023, but for some reason I seem to remember watching that this year.
Yeah, I feel like you are correct.
Wild Things from 1998 coming out on Arrow. Zombie Christ from 2010.
Zombie Christ.
Yeah, that looks pretty rough. Dogman. We have Bag of Lies, Bring Her to Me, Hunt Her, Kill Her from 2022. Blood and Snow. That's pretty much it. What about Criterion's this week?
Oh, we got one. We got Fassbender's Grail from 1982.
All right.
Bizarre cover on it. I don't know what it is about the cover of that movie.
I see that.
Freaks me out.
Yeah, it is. It is unsettling.
It plays the scene. Like, unnerving.
Yeah. All right. I think that's going to do it for this week. Thank you so much for listening. You can send us your questions and topics to podcast@filmpulse.net. And if you could, consider giving us a review on your podcast platform of choice. For Kevin Rakestraw, my name's Adam Patterson. We'll see you next week.